Good morning, I'm Dr. Pilet, and today I want to talk about parenting tip number 12, creative consequences. Creative consequences is a term that I use to coin how a parent uses, if you will, penalties to discourage a child from repeating unwanted behavior. But in establishing this idea of negative consequences, that they also introduce some level of flexibility in allowing the child to work through what those penalties are. And if you will, I like this term and I like this concept because it just does such a wonderful job in empowering the child to A, be obedient, but B, to reincorporating into them a lifestyle that does include the values and beliefs of the family, and if you will, brings them into ownership of the thing that they've done. So let me first of all talk to you about this idea, and I'll give you an example. You know, recently I had a child who was disrespectful to the teacher at school. Now, they didn't verbally say anything directly, but their body language and facial expressions were totally inappropriate. And so the teacher had written back to the parent about the child's communicating disrespect. Now, in talking with the parent, trying to work out some idea of negative consequences and using this notion of creative consequences, she explained to me that her son really enjoys having kids over on weekends. Occasionally he goes to someone else's house, but while his son is there and while their kids in the household, that they play, you know, with video games, they watch TV, they have Halo figurines and Star Wars figurines, and the children just are incorporated into the household for the weekend, and it's a wonderful experience for that child. Well, she sat the child down, read them the note from the teacher, and said, you need to understand something. As a result of this, no kids come over to this house, nor do you go to anybody else's house for the next month. And oh, by the way, during that month, you're not going to play with any of these things that you enjoy. The Halo figurines and the Star Wars figurines and all these things, okay? Understand. Now, let a day sit in, let a day settle in, or two, if you will, so the child feels the real burden of these things that are lost. And day two, she sits down with the child and asks the child for her support. And here's what she does. She says, you know, I'm going to reconsider some of these negative consequences, and I'm going to offer you, the idea of being flexible in remediating, if we're earning back some of this that's happened to you. So I tell you what, tonight if you help with the dishes, help me with the kitchen, I'll take 2 days off. And tomorrow, by the way, Dad's working in the pool in the yard. You help Dad with the pool, you get a good report from him, and I'll give you a week off. Now, what's interesting about this notion is that it gives the child some degree of empowerment. It not only promotes them buying into the family and belief system that the family represents, but it also gives them a notion of, I'm a human. It's not a computer. This isn't cause and effect, like A plus B is always equal to C, and I have no choices. I have no way of affecting outcome. So by the end of the first week, now the child has gotten really involved in this idea that I can earn some of this back. Doing things around the house, helping Dad, and with each incremental work effort, the parent, who is keeping a tally on the number of weeks involved, the number of days involved, has now reduced these penalties, reduced the negative consequences. So now it's only about 10 days. And it's interesting because once we've gotten to that point where I have earned back that privilege, now it's important to get closure. Sit with the child, go through what's occurred, go through the reason that they were penalized, go through the ideas, if you will, and how they've accumulated these very positive experiences to earn back, if you will, that privilege, and get closure on that. If you will, creative consequences really works. I use it in my own home. I use it with my own family and kids. And I'm going to tell you, you'll be surprised at how wonderful a tool it is to get the child to incorporate back into the family and belief system when they in fact have been obedient and violated some of those guidelines. Again, I'm Dr. Pilet. Thank you very much.